Today's video is brought to you by Patreon. If you guys enjoy videos like this where I use my favorite TV show characters to reflect and commentate on the autistic experience, over on my Patreon, I'm uploading all of my future commentary videos. I will still try to upload them on YouTube as well, but I can't make any promises as to how many of them will be approved versus how many of them are going to be taken down. And so if you become a patron, not only do you gain access to my Discord, but you'll also be able to gain access to Patreon exclusive content. And becoming a patron is just a really great way to support me as a content creator to continue making videos like this. Links to my Patreon is going to be in the description box below. Now let's get back to the video. All right, so today I am going to be watching season 4, episode 10 of New Girl. I think that this one's going to be really fun because 𝗪𝗍 and Jess are going to have a girl fight. And this episode really dives into the differences between women fighting within their friendships versus men.
Hey. Scoot down.
Nick, what are you doing?
Sorry, just scoot down. I need to iron this shirt that I'm wearing for my date with trans granddaughter. It's either this or the turtleneck my mother bought me in 2009. They're my only clean shirts.
Leave turtleneck? Don't do that.
Okay, look, we need this whole table for Nadia's baby shower, all right? So move along.
Nadia, isn't that the Russian chick who broke a 𝗪cie?
Will to live? After she broke my penis?
Who saw her and thought, that's the woman I want to be the mother of my children?
She's not sure.
Yeah, she calls it her little sex party miracle. Do you have to iron here?
It's the only flat surface. Besides Winston's desk, but he's using that to study for his police academy test, and he is not to be disturbed.
Not enough.
There's an ironing board in the bathroom.
I know, but I've been using that to wedge it between two urinals to keep Schmidt from peeking. But fine, I'll use that.
For those of you who don't understand that context, there was an episode in a previous season where everyone in the apartment has seen Nick's penis, but Schmidt. And then Schmidt was like, so everyone got to saw Nick's penis except me. It's not necessarily about the penis. It's about the fact that he wants to know everything about Nick and doesn't want to be left out. And so there are so many scenes throughout that episode where Schmidt was trying to sneakily see Nick's penis. There were scenes where Nick went to go shower and then Schmidt was hiding in there. And then there were scenes where Nick would go to pee and then Schmidt would kind of pop up over the stall to try to see Nick's penis. It's just funny because they bring it up here again, and only people who avidly watch New Girl would be able to catch on to that really quick reference.
Coach! My Charlie Rose episodes, all 18 of them are gone. DVRs, chock-a-block filled with American football matches, which, by the way, is a garbage. Oh!
We go?
Yeah, we cool.
What the hell just happened?
Fight?
Yeah, now it's over. I barely even remember it.
I cannot believe you guys handle things that way. I'm starting to think that neither one of you read the Madeleine Albright biography I gave you for Christmas. I'm so glad we don't fight.
I know.
Oh, please, women fight.
Well, we occasionally get into a little thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, we just had that thing with the purse, but that was, like, barely even a thing.
Yeah, that was nothing. I mean, there's no point in even talking about it.
Oh! No, you should have it.
No, you should have it.
No, you take it.
No, you take it.
No, you take it.
I want you to take it.
No,
Look,
take it.
I want you to have it because it would look good on you.
No, it's made for you.
This part is what makes me uncomfortable. It's human to feel frustrated, to feel angry, and to feel upset. And it's in human nature to also be competitive, angry, and aggressive sometimes. And I think not all women, and I'm not trying to generalize, but generally speaking, across cultures, women are taught to not be assertive and aggressive and angry, and to always be this, agreeable. And we're so scared to step on each other's toes because any sort of behavior that would indicate aggression or confrontation is going to be judged negatively, right? But it becomes really awkward because when you have a close relationship with someone, or when you get humans together in an interaction, there are going to be moments where there is tension there. how can we as women healthily navigate that tension without completely ignoring that there's tension and trying to immediately diffuse it inauthentically? I think that's the part that I feel really weird with, is the inauthentic part. There's a difference when you actually want there to be peace and agreeance versus you genuinely are frustrated, but you're masking over it for the sake of maintaining peace and to not step on another person's toes. If something frustrates you, if you're upset, you should be able to talk about it and not have to act like it's okay. I don't have female friendships like this now so much. I feel like my female friends in my life now are more comfortable with confrontation and communication. But in the past, when I was like an adolescent or young adult, I very much so had moments like this where I would be upset and there would be a tense situation, but because the other girl would act like this to me, I felt the need to have to reciprocate that, but it just felt very disingenuous and awkward. And I was never really good at masking over what I was actually feeling. So even though I tried to act like I was okay, I was actually visibly upset. The genuine part is the fact that they want each other to both be happy. The disingenuous part is that they're telling the other person to take the purse when they secretly want the purse for themselves. And then you'll see that it's going to cause issues, right? When you're being disingenuous.
But then we both decided that it was better if neither one of us bought it.
Yep.
The neon yellow purse? With the strap? Yeah, I've seen that. It's in your closet. I wonder how many rubber duckies need to die to make that thing.
Schmidt, you don't know what you're talking about.
I gotta run. Thank you so much for helping with the baby shower. You know, you were just the best.
No, you're the best. Did I tell you I love your top, by the way?
No. Ugh, I just found
What's
it in the back of my
happening?
closet. So I'll call you later?
Definitely.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God, this part always confuses me. The propensity for women to incessantly compliment each other. It's very hard for me to tell when someone's complimenting me because they actually like the thing they're complimenting, or because they're frustrated and angry with me, but they're trying to diffuse the tension by passive aggressively complimenting me. There was one time I went into Ulta to get this makeup thing. I went to the checkout, and then the girl was like, oh my God, I love this. I love that. This thing is cute. And I just said, thank you. And then immediately her smile dropped and her energy switched up. The way that I read it was that she was frustrated that I didn't reciprocate compliments back to her, which made me think, why does she compliment me if she was only doing so to get a compliment back? Because if that's the case, shouldn't she just ask me to compliment her if that's what she wanted, versus her complimenting me because she genuinely just liked the things she was complimenting? Because if you just like someone's shirt or hair, you would just compliment it and say, I like it, because you're communicating to them a honest and genuine thought without necessarily needing any sort of specific reciprocity. But because she had such a negative response to me saying thank you, it made me feel like, oh, it wasn't necessarily about her complimenting me. It was about her doing something socially to me and needing and expecting me to do the same thing back to her. And so when I didn't, that was a form of rejection or some sort of insinuation that I wasn't privy to. Like, I, of course, wasn't trying to insinuate anything. The way that I read that interaction was, she likes my hair and my shirt, and I'm saying thank you because I appreciate her appreciating me. And so I was confused, and it took me a while to process why she had a negative response to me when I said thank you. Does that make sense? That's why a lot of female interactions could be really confusing, because women are taught to feel guilty and ashamed about needing and wanting things and asking for things because we see it as us being selfish and inconsiderate. I wish there weren't these unhealthy contingencies. You could be sure of what you want and ask for it and demand it and still be nice and considerate and empathetic of other people. It shouldn't negate each other, right? But oftentimes women are scared to ask for what they want, or to say, hey, I know you want this purse, but I really want it. Is there any way that I could have it this time? Maybe next time you could have something if we both want it and we could work something out. I feel like being disingenuous is the root to a lot of issues because you're already hiding the truth. And so therefore, your actions that follow afterwards is going to be shady and weird and cause a lot of more issues. Humans shouldn't be working towards a goal of never fighting, never having tension, never being dysregulated, never having physical health symptoms. We should instead be developing healthy responses to those things, right? When it comes to you and your friends, you're bound to disagree, you're bound to have fights, you're bound to sometimes even trigger each other. And our goal shouldn't be to always have peace and to never ever, step on each other's toes and to be upset. The goal should be to healthily confront those situations, communicate through it, understand each other deeper through it, and figure out a solution together so that you could both grow and get through it, rather than trying to immediately diffuse the tension, even at the cost of being disingenuous and dishonest.
Oh my God!
What just happened?
It's a girl fight. Schmidt, stay out of it, man. Girl fights are dangerous, okay? I grew up with 3 sisters, and I wore a cup until I was 14 years old.
What's wrong? They planned to wear braids and bows and didn't tell me your face. There, now you match.
That's an interesting concept. Men tend to weaponize physical violence against each other, whereas women tend to weaponize social hierarchies and social alienation against each other. Again, I'm not trying to have binary thinking of gender roles. It's just I'm using the patterns of the 2 gender roles as an example to explore a concept, right? I want us to hold space for the fact that binary gender roles are stupid and don't make sense, but at the same time, it is the reality of the society that we live in, generally speaking. And so when Schmidt and Coach get into a disagreement, they work through it by hitting each other, but they're able to get through it immediately. It's not necessarily about needing to figure out what to do. It's more so about, I'm upset with you, so I want to take that out on you real quick, and then we're good. And I think there's aspects to that that is healthy and I feel like should be emulated across the board. Whereas for women, I feel like when we're upset with someone or we don't like someone, because we don't directly confront them and we're taught to smile over everything, our weapons tend to be a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Covert. So for example, if 𝗪𝐶 and Jess had that moment and there was other women there, if 𝗪𝐶 were to be like, how dare you go behind my back and get that purse? We agreed on neither of us getting that purse. So you completely betrayed my trust. I'm really upset with you. The other woman would actually negatively judge 𝗪𝐶 because they would think, oh my God, 𝗪𝐶's being so intense right now and so confrontational, and she's not being nice about it. What happens is women will find roundabout ways to isolate a woman that they don't like or have issues with in very invisible ways rather than just directly confronting them, because not only are they needing to think about how do I make things even, but how can I do that in a way that doesn't isolate me from the other women. You know what I'm saying? That scene where Coach's sisters, instead of confronting the sister, they end up cutting their hair instead. It's like a very passive-aggressive way to alienate that sister further and to basically say, you are no longer a part of this. That is the worst thing that we could do to you, is to leave you out, unsupported, disconnected, and sad. Interesting, right? And that's why Coach says, girl fights are scary. You don't know what you're getting into. Because he's right. Like, girl fights are so much more intricate, manipulative, passive aggressive, intense, and complex. I never knew how to properly partake. So I would always just be left out, and then I would accept my fate, feel really sad and depressed about it, and do nothing about it. I think that's the downside to being an autistic woman, is you don't know how to use social hierarchies, social expectations, and social norms to your advantage. Even when I say that, I think there are cases where autistic women probably do know how to do that, but I think it depends on who you are and what your background is, because I think the only way you could do that as an autistic woman is if you have those social weapons naturally to use. So if you're an autistic woman and you come from a wealthy family or an affluent family, or you're pretty and you're white, stereotypically attractive, maybe then you would be an autistic woman that knows how to use those things to your advantage and know how to interplay with it, because people naturally respond more positively to you and are able to fall into the social script with you and vice versa. Versus like if you're an autistic woman that doesn't fit those social expectations of beauty and status, it would be a lot harder for you to figure out how to use those specific intricate social languages to your advantage in order to play that sort of chess game.
Well, congratulations on having sisters, but I know women. You blindfold me, spin me around, and drop me into a rainstorm, and I'll still find the G-spot.
Schmidt.
Let us not forget that I had boobs for the first 19 years of my life. I grew up as a fat, asexual friend zoner. You can't buy that kind of access.
Talking about how women act towards other women. You don't want to get in the middle of that.
Jess' purse, I saw it in her closet when it was rainy, and I was bored, and I was feeling Snoopy. No. See? Look, the purse. In the immortal words of Tag Team, whoop, there it is.
Fine. I went back and I bought the purse because I love it. I love purses. And that doesn't mean I'm not a feminist either. I'm a damn feminist who loves purses. Where else am I supposed to keep my feminist writings? In a purse. That's where.
Lena Dunham. I don't know.
Jess, it's a purse. Who cares? Just apologize.
𝗪cie and I have been friends for 20 years. Do you know why? Because we're passive-aggressive people. We never confront anything.
That's such an autistic trait of Jess. Even though we may figure out how to partake in social interactions that don't really make sense to us, it doesn't mean that we completely avoid it. Sometimes we do have the capacity to mask in certain aspects to assimilate to social norms, but at the same time, there's a part of our brain that is suspended from that, that's able to understand logically and personally for ourselves. This doesn't make sense, but this is just how it is. Even though I can interact within that script, I don't necessarily agree with it and it doesn't really make sense to me. She's honest about it. She's not delusionally thinking we have such a good friendship because we never have anything to fight about and we're always agreeing on everything and it's just so easy. Jess is just honestly saying, you know how we've been friends for so long? Because we're passive aggressive.
The way it works with us. It always has. Hi. Hi. And that was one of the worst fights we've ever had. And if I bring up the purse, then everything else comes up with it. Too many things have happened. Women have amazing memories because we used to be the gatherers. And so we had to remember where all the best berries were hidden. And 𝗪cie and I, we've hidden berries all across the Great Plains.
Colorado, Kansas, Montana, Nebraska. Need I say more?
Coach gets it.
That's also such an autistic trait to compare a social norm / a social interaction in a very scientific way. I oftentimes do this by talking about how animals are in nature. And I always feel so stupid when I do that, but it's just how I tend to process things. Even though they're so completely separate and don't seem correlated, as an autistic person that recognizes patterns, it is literally the same thing. So I'm able to understand Jess immediately.
See, 𝗪cie and I, we're gonna be fine because it's gonna play out the way it always does. We're not gonna talk for 3 days and then I'll surprise latte and then we'll act like nothing happened.
Another classic autistic trait, memorizing what's gonna happen and the exact way it's gonna happen. Jess is thinking about it in a way where she remembers all of the patterns and past fights and she has it down to almost a mathematical equation of this is what happens when we fight, this is what happens after we fight, and this is what happens when we make up.
3 days without 𝗪cie? Do I have to spend 3 days without 𝗪cie?
Yes, I don't trust you around her. She makes you weak and penis dumb.
3 days without 𝗪cie? Why don't you just replace my shoes with bags and turn me into a lunatic?
Stay out of it, man.
Stay the hell out of it, bro.
Here's a different take. Why don't I spend more time with her?
Stay out of it.
I'm confused. Now, should I... Are you asking me to spend more time with her or stay out of it?
Like, for real?
I can't stand people like that where they only want to believe what they want to believe and there's so much cognitive dissonance there. I'm just taking Adderall because I'm having a hard time focusing.
Just what I was looking for. How'd you like a piping hot latte?
Thanks, Jess, but you know, I can buy my own.
What did you do?
Is this about the socks?
All right, so let's dissect the invisible interactions that lie underneath the actual interaction, because that's usually what you have to do in these sort of interactions, okay? Especially when you're being disingenuous and you're masking. When Jess walked out with the 2 lattes, and one is obviously for 𝗪𝐶 because it has 𝗪𝐶's name on it. That's not just her giving her a latte. That is just basically telling 𝗪𝐶, this is me waving a white flag. This is me trying to make up. It's basically her saying, I'm sorry, can we be good again? I care about you. 𝗪𝐶 does multiple things within that interaction. When she rejects Jess's latte, she's essentially rejecting Jess's gesture to make up and be okay with each other. It's not that 𝗪𝐶 objectively doesn't want a free latte, right? I'm sure a lot of us, if we had a choice, would take the free drink. Even if you don't necessarily want it or care for it, who would deny a free drink? Especially if your best friend got it for you, you're gonna be like, cool, this is awesome. I don't have to spend $7 on a coffee. But 𝗪𝐶 rejected the latte because she knows Jess is giving it to her as a sorry. And 𝗪𝐶 is so upset with Jess that she doesn't even care to make up with her at this point. She just cares about getting revenge on Jess. She pulls up her purse, the purse that they both wanted, but Jess sneakily got behind her back. And she says, I could buy my own latte. She's basically telling Jess that she could somehow get that purse out from Jess's apartment and in her own hands, right? That's really sneaky too. You know what I'm saying? So 𝗪𝐶 tricked 𝗪 into stealing the purse from Jess's room and giving it to her. It's basically expressing not only power over someone, but it's also expressing reach over other people. Not only that, when she says, I could buy my own latte, she's essentially saying this friendship isn't something I need. I could go get what I need on my own without you. Again, that concept of alienation and social rejection is like the scariest thing for women. And it makes a lot of sense tying it back to, you know, a primal thing. Women tend to operate better in packs. I'm thinking about lions in a pride, how female lions are the ones that hunt for the pride, but they hunt in packs. So you don't normally see one singular female lion going out to hunt for the pack. You see all of them working together and hunting together in order to provide for the pack. Whereas the male lion fights on his own to defend their territory against other singular male lions. So it makes a lot of sense as to why women's innate fear is more so about being isolated and rejected by other people and just rejected socially. All right, now let's see how Jess wants to respond to 𝗪𝐶.
You weren't supposed to talk to 𝗪𝐶. What happened?
Well, I had to see her. I can't go 3 days without seeing 𝗪𝐶. And it went just like you said it would. I'm gonna go get the purse.
Again, social weapons. 𝗪𝐶 smiled to Jess's face and thought to herself, what kind of weapons do I have in my arsenal? I know 𝗪 would literally do anything for me, especially if I were to flaunt my body to him, because 𝗪 is like hypersexual. If she were to just show him some cleavage, he would literally probably jump off a cliff for her. And so she did that. She used her weapons to weaponize 𝗪 in order for him to go steal the purse behind Jess's back and give it to 𝗪𝐶 so that 𝗪𝐶 could show up the next time she sees Jess and passive aggressively say, I could go buy my own coffee. Instead of just saying, I stole your purse, girl. She's like, that is using social dynamics, social interplay, social hierarchy to your advantage to fight with other women. It's insane, right, you guys? It's insane. And 𝗪 said it himself. She played me.
She played me like John Popper plays that little harmonica fiddle thing.
Oh, she's like a robot scientist, and you're like a damn robot. And usually it's cute, except when you're robbing me.
Jess, I'm sorry. So, what happens now? You bring her another coffee and you guys make up?
I don't know what happens now. We're in uncharted territory because you got involved. We're entering the abyss. It's like the month I decided not to wear a bra. Those were dark times. I had no support. Literally no support.
Robot scientist, I feel it, Jess. That's the thing. 𝗪𝐶 isn't thinking of it as this is a science, but Jess sees it as such. Like, oh my gosh, she's a genius. She's a scientist. She maneuvered and strategized so well. I literally brought this up recently in my body language video where autistic people can have the capability to analyze and memorize social patterns and know what it means, but to a certain extent, right? Jess knows how to play within the script of them fighting and making up in terms of how it usually played out. But as soon as it deviates in any sort of way, she doesn't know how to respond anymore because it's uncharted territory, right? That is what makes autistic folks different from non-autistic folks. That information of how to properly understand something and know how to respond to something is not intrinsically within us. We have to learn by observing and doing and messing up and then keeping that in mind for next time. And so in this moment, Jess doesn't know how to respond because it's new. Whereas if the roles were reversed and it was 𝗪𝐶 would just respond to every situation as it comes and not have to think much of it, you know?
𝗪𝐶 just texted me a smiley face.
Is that bad?
No, she just texted me the world's first good smiley face. I'm gonna text her a yellow heart. No, yellow heart. Whale. Thumbs up.
Okay, let's break this down. The first 10 times I watched this, I didn't know what any of these emojis meant, but as I rewatched it again and again, I understand it a little bit more now. So the yellow heart, whale, thumbs up, she's calling 𝗪𝐶 the whale, which is like the worst thing you could call 𝗪𝐶 because for those of you who don't watch New Girl religiously like me, 𝗪𝐶's job is a model. Throughout the series, she talks here and there about how she has to stay skinny to be a model. So Jess is directly attacking 𝗪𝐶 by referring to 𝗪𝐶 as a whale. Not only that, but she sent the yellow heart basically saying, you can't get under my skin by stealing that purse because I left that purse on you anyways.
Thumbs up.
Well, that seems nice.
𝗪 is all of us autistics where it completely goes over our head. We're like, heart, thumbs up, aw, you're being nice.
How dare she? Chinese man, ballerina, apartment building?
What does that mean? What?
Fine.
Huh, that one's hard. Chinese man, ballerina, apartment building. I think she's referencing to Nick going on a date with Tran's daughter. Because for those of you who don't know the lore, Nick's best friend is this random old Chinese guy that he met in a park. And then Nick, in this episode, meets his daughter and they kind of hit it off and they start dating. And Nick and Jess used to date. Maybe my interpretation's wrong, so let me know if you think it's wrong. But I think 𝗪𝐶 is rubbing into Jess's face that Nick is dating another girl because she thinks Jess is going to be sad about it. In order to get back at Jess for calling her fat, which is a low blow, 𝗪𝐶 now wants to do a low blow on Jess by bringing Jess's relationship with Nick into the roast battle. Because it's kind of like an unspoken thing that Nick is Jess's off-limits topic because they are soulmates, right? And so that's just something that I guess you know is a boundary thing that you don't cross.
Poop. Turban guy. Granny.
Don't text her poop.
Poop, turban guy, granny? Is she calling 𝗪𝐶 a stinky old Indian lady? I don't get it. I think Jess is being petty at this point. You know how like sometimes when you're joking around or play fighting with someone, you could call them stinky butt, fart pants, poo face. I feel like that's what Jess is doing here because when both people cross a boundary, it's almost like anything is up for grabs. And I feel like once you hit that threshold with certain types of people, you end up just laughing at that point. That part is the fun part. When you have enough chemistry with another person where even though you guys start off being serious and dissing each other, you get super immature about it where it almost becomes funny because you guys know like we're getting so worked up over something so dumb and then you guys just start laughing about it.
Explosion monkey see?
Explosion monkey see. I don't know what that means. Is she calling Jess a monkey and that something's gonna explode soon in her life. Like there's a bomb that's about to be dropped. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get that part. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm having a really hard time understanding 𝗪𝗏𝗁𝗵𝐾𝐫.
You want to play dirty? Fine. Slice of cake. Turtle.
Don't say.
Slice of cake turtle. I think slice of cake turtle is another fat comment. I remember there was an episode where it was 𝗪𝐶's birthday and she refused to eat her birthday cake because she was on a diet to be skinny for a photo shoot. And then Jess brought up how she was disappointed in 𝗪𝐶 because she thinks 𝗪𝐶 should be better than that and enjoy herself and not have to starve herself in order to look good. And then at the end of the episode, 𝗪𝐶 ate her birthday cake, basically to indicate, you know, I'm empowered. I don't need to starve myself to feel good about myself. That was another really low blow because Jess was the one who was encouraging and pushing 𝗪𝐶 to eat the cake. And she knows how scared 𝗪𝐶 was to eat the cake. And so it was a really big breakthrough for 𝗪𝐶 to eat the cake. And so when Jess backtracks and uses the cake against 𝗪𝐶 to call her slow, like you're gonna be slow now that you ate that cake, it's almost really effed up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Double syringe?
Double syringe, I'm not sure what that means. Is that like a knife thing? Like this is war or something like that? Let me know, you guys. The two texts that I don't really know how to interpret is the double syringe and the 𝗪𝗏𝗁𝗵𝐾𝐫.
Double syringe. You're right, 𝗪𝐶. Maybe it's time to dig up some berries. The gatherers have become the hunters. Be well.
Where are you going? Leave those berries be!
Oh my God, that's such a good metaphor. The gatherers have now become the hunters. Yeah, that's a good metaphor, Jess. Let's become hunters. Let's see what happens when the girls start to be more confrontational and honest about how they feel instead of being passive aggressive. This is the fun part.
Where is top of baby cage?
Double syringe?
Hey, Jew. How's pee-pee?
Oh, hello, Nadia. Coach, I need you. Jess and 𝗪𝐶 are in a thing, and it is terrifying.
Pretty busy. All right, hold on. Let me put down the stuff I've been working on.
Coach, I am at the baby shower.
You're at the what? Are you dumb? You're dumb. You're very dumb. Get out of there.
Panicked. I didn't know what else to do. I thought I could fix this. I gave 𝗪𝐶 the purse. Obviously, it was a mistake. Oh God, look at them. They're like silent, angry statues right now. It's terrifying and also maybe a little erotic. Okay, fine, it's very erotic. You know what, Coach? I'm telling you, I'm finding out that fear plays a big part in my sexuality.
𝗪𝐶, what happens when two passive-aggressive people start confronting each other?
I don't know. What happens?
Anything! Anything can happen! That's what I'm telling you! Are you ready for anything to happen?
Obviously not. That's why I'm calling you.
Did you wash your hair? It looks really clean.
I mean, they're being passive aggressive still because obviously 𝗪𝐶 is roasting Jess's hair. I kind of think saying stuff like this to each other is funny. One of the things that makes me laugh really hard is watching drag queens read each other.
Delano. These other girls are gonna say you have terrible makeup skills, you have no fashion sense, and you're dumb as a rock. But they're wrong. You don't have terrible makeup skills.
Basically, reading and throwing shade at each other is this concept of dissing and roasting another person, but in like a somewhat clever way. And people read each other in different ways. There's like a style to it. But I think if you're good at wordplay, you can make it so freaking funny.
You know what that means?
And that you know more about women than me.
I know more about women than you!
And then I'm a little dumb-dumb.
I'm a big smart. Yeah. Now here's what you're gonna do. Bake like a bear. If that doesn't work, pee a circle around yourself and light it on fire.
I peed before I came. I had a root beer with lunch.
I'm on my way. Hey, did you bring a gift? Because I don't want to be that guy. You know, the guy that doesn't bring a gift.
Just get over here.
All right, I'm coming.
It kind of reminds me of that one SpongeBob episode where they had to like put salt around them because there was this bear thing in the wild, and then Squidward didn't believe SpongeBob.
And you told Mike Hanneman I was on my period. He wanted to know why you were wearing sweatpants in the pool. Okay, I was defending you.
I have arrived!
Ah, Mr. Stripper!
Okay, so what's next, Jess?
20 years of fights are happening right now. They're getting into everything.
Intentionally didn't put gas in your car on senior ditch day.
All right, ladies, stop
I
it.
gave you the money, and you spent it on condoms and taffy.
By the way, that sounds like a hell of a day.
Well, I wouldn't know. I was stranded on a beach, being a virgin. But that's not the only time I've been stranded. Now, is it? I'm
this is
talking
about Paris.
I'm
I
talking
knew
about Paris.
it.
We had signed a lease. That's an agreement. And then you decided to take a modeling job in Paris, so I had to move in with Spencer? While you were being squired about the Louvre, I was having to pee on top of Spencer's pee to conserve water.
You know, it's called mud sharking, by the way.
It's not my fault.
Honestly, everything that 𝗪cie did to Jess is very effed up if you think about it. 𝗪cie didn't seem to be a good friend at all, especially considering how thoughtful Jess is of 𝗪cie. I feel bad for Jess, you know, and I completely resonate and understand Jess's experience. It makes me sad that Jess didn't feel comfortable to bring up these things that really hurt her in the past, because her saying it out loud now, yeah, like 𝗪cie straight up abandoned her in a lot of situations and wasn't really a good friend to her.
Stop it!
I'm bored.
Here's what you guys are gonna do. You're gonna punch each other.
No, I'm not bored.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
We gotta do something. Man up, punch each other, and end this. Punch each other. Talk with your fists.
I just want my
She was about to say, I just want my purse back. But in reality, it's not about the purse. It's about feeling upset and angry with each other. And I think that's the thing that intellectualizers don't understand, is that there are moments where finding a solution isn't even necessarily going to make you feel better. It's just you're upset that it happened in the first place. It's almost like you just want to get it out and then get over it and move on with your life. And it's not that serious. There's a difference between a toxic friendship or relationship where someone hurts you in the same ways again and again and again. Let's say your friend tends to make fun of you in front of other people all the time. And then you bring up, hey, can you not do that? I always feel really bad about myself and uncomfortable. And then the person just does it again and again and again. So in those instances, a solution is so necessary, because when there's a reoccurring behavior that is harming someone, the solution is to try to stop the harmful behavior. But when it's an instance like this, where obviously Jess wasn't trying to be malicious, she didn't do that to hurt 𝗪cie's feelings. She just did that because she wanted the purse so bad, but didn't know how to communicate through it. Because if 𝗪cie gave Jess the purse back, it wouldn't resolve anything. It would only be a band-aid over an issue that has been bubbling and bubbling and bubbling for years. You know what I'm saying? That underlying frustration and grudges being held against each other.
Goodness!
Back off!
Ladies, spreading. Stop it!
Russian baby shower!
And now we see all the women fighting, because there is beef between a lot of these women that was never confronted, and now they're just gonna all fight it out. And that's the thing, is that just because women don't fight covertly doesn't mean we never get angry, we never get frustrated, and we have ascended into this multi-dimensional state where we no longer experience emotions and whatnot. We still get hurt, we still get frustrated, we still get betrayed, we still have those humanistic needs to let it out and to just express how frustrated or hurt we are. It's just we oftentimes don't have a safe space to do so without other people judging us negatively or completely alienating us and seeing us as a dangerous person in expressing that honest, more aggressive emotion.
Bring it up! Bring it up!
Baby shower! Baby shower! Yeah, baby shower!
You stole my babysitter!
What are you doing?
I'm having a situation.
Dude.
Waiting for no down reason with me? I'll just lie down and take it like a woman.
This is for my cannabis!
Baby kick! Baby lie! Yay!
Do I look pretty? Do you feel like really good right now?
Yes. I thought I was crazy.
No, you're not crazy. I think I wanted to punch you for a really long time.
Felt that way.
Like maybe 10 or 15 years.
And it feels so good that right now we don't have to talk everything
Yeah,
through.
we can just punch it
Oh
out.
my God, I have missed you.
I can't believe I've known you 20 years. And you're still my favorite person to talk to.
You're my favorite person to talk to. I hate not talking to you. I feel like I've missed everything.
You did miss everything.
So, does Nick have a girlfriend?
Yes. So weird.
You okay?
Yes, so weird. So is Nadia gonna raise the baby in your apartment?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that yet. You should.
See, that's the thing. All of this boils down to the fact that women are expected to be perfect. There's this idea that if we ever fought, if we ever got upset with each other, all of a sudden that automatically means that we have a toxic, unhealthy friendship. Sometimes a fight stems from the fact that you're just an imperfect person that still has to learn a lesson. There are times where a lesson takes a while for you to fully digest and integrate. Just because you make a mistake once doesn't mean the next few times you're going to be completely perfect and never make that mistake again. There's aspects of us where we will spend the rest of our lives working on certain things about our habits, our personalities, our biases, our traumas. There are going to be moments where the issue that caused the tension in the first place is not something the other person may be ready to overcome immediately without being disingenuous and faking it, right? There's gonna be aspects of what led Jess to go buy the purse behind 𝗪𝐶's back and what 𝗪𝐶 did to steal the purse back that they're going to have to deconstruct and work on, let's say hypothetically for the next 20 years or so. They're going to make mistakes again and again throughout the entirety of their friendship, even after this point. They're gonna probably do something, whether it's intentional or not, that's gonna hurt the other person's feelings and piss them off. They should have the capacity to do so because they're not perfect people. And it doesn't mean they're not gonna grow and learn. It just means that they're going to be making mistakes and they're going to learn from it every single time in little ways. And they're going to adjust little things here and there so that maybe they don't make the same mistakes at the same capacity, or maybe they need to make the same mistakes a couple more times to realize, okay, that's something I can learn from more definitively now. But either way, we can't expect each other to immediately turn it around into us being perfect and never making that mistake again. And I oftentimes see women falling into that trap of not only expecting that perfection from themselves, but also expecting it from other women. If I'm putting this much work into not stepping on your toes and I'm restraining myself in order to do so, and you're just being more free and you're stepping on my toes sometimes, we mistake that as them not caring about us as much as we care about them. And that's not how we should quantify love, right? So even though you may not be ready to do something about it, becoming aware of it again and again and again is still part of the process of growing and learning. And we have to give each other space to go through that process however we need to. And everyone grows at different paces because everyone processes differently. Everyone has different lessons that they're learning from and different circumstances that they're working with, right? The concept of perfectionism, never stepping on each other's toes, is what's leading people to not only continue to be disingenuous, but to also not actually learn from their mistakes and therefore growing as a person. If you knew everyone was going to judge you so much for not knowing better or making a mistake, you would not want to take accountability for your mistakes and to genuinely try to learn from it. You would just try to hide the fact that you made a mistake to begin with and act as perfect as you can, even though underneath the surface, the lesson is still not learned.
Oh, Cecilia, thank goodness. Look at you. You're still pretty. And Jess, you know, you look the same.
Yeah, I'm sorry about making you guys punch each other.
Don't be sorry. You're so right. We wasted so much time being passive aggressive.
We learned our lesson.
Yeah.
Well, that means a lot.
We were very smart.
Thank you.
Seriously, if you guys fought like girls, you'd still be arguing over the fact that you recorded football over your Charlie Rose episodes.
It's all good, man.
We're not, though.
And then girl Schmidt would be like, ugh, does coach just think I'm a pretentious poser who just records things to look smart because deep down I am just terrifyingly insecure about my intelligence.
Yeah, and girl coach would be like, does Schmidt think that I'm an uncultured meathead who has to rewatch football because I'm afraid of showing anyone my softer side?
Oh, hey, Coach.
Oh, hey, you. That's nice.
Oh, this? I don't know. Thanks, I guess. I'm kind of whatever about it.
No.
What do you got there?
Oh, just some sneakers. I hope they're okay. I don't have an eye for things like you.
Well, yeah, you do. Come on, don't be so hard on
Your
yourself.
eye is so good.
I'm sure they're great. Not that you could look bad in anything, really.
Wow! Son of a... Thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks, man. Anytime.
We cool?
Yeah, we cool.
All right, so that brings us to the end of today's episode. I thoroughly enjoyed all of the interesting conversations that came up while watching this episode. I would be so curious to see how some of you respond to it and relate to these sort of experiences, especially as neurodivergent autistic women. Being a woman in today's society is already so complex. Being an autistic woman in today's society is twice as much more complex. And I think being able to deconstruct our experiences is so beneficial for us and so validating. With that being said, make sure you guys take some time to drink some water, eat some food, and take yourself on a nice, relaxing walk. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.